They knew the science of consciousness is real.
And it's definitely a mermaid, because when it came up, looked at it.
Nanobots.
Welcome back, Wi-Fi wizards. Let's hit the subscribe button, like button, and let's get it cracking.
The gaps, help could soon be at hand for athletes or anyone sporting a toothless grin. It's a Canadian invention that not only plugs the gaps, but fills the holes with brand new pearly whites. CTV's Deborah Shirey explains.
Miller getting some time in Edmonds' spot, and Ryan Smith is down and hurt.
It was a jaw-dropping shot as Edmonton Oiler Ryan Smith takes a puck to the face, and yes, those are his teeth.
As quickly as possible for you.
It's too late for Smith's smile, but researchers at the University of Alberta could have a cure for future toothless hockey grins. An ultrasound device that regrows human teeth. Tariq Albiali was researching jaw growth in rabbits.
Accidentally, when I applied the ultrasound, I found the lower incisor grow.
Albiali is the first to try the treatment on humans. After 20 minutes a day, new teeth started to grow in a month.
With this device, we'll get these roots together, held them together, healing it together, and keep it forever.
Albiali's machine was too big, so he teamed up with nanotech expert Jai Chen, who scaled it down from this to this.
After using this treatment, then you can throw away. So this is like a one-time use for you, and you can put it on easily. What we're working on is more like a user-friendly.
Professors at the University of Alberta have already filed a patent for this invention. While it's obviously still in the prototype phase, scientists here are hopeful it could hit the market in as little as 2 years.
Would have a fantastic practical application.
No one knows more about losing teeth than Oilers dentist Anthony Sneezewell. He says time is limited when it comes to saving teeth.
If we can get to the point where it doesn't matter because we can use this device, then it's going to improve situations where we can reimplant teeth, and they'll be successful long term.
For now, all the attention has taken Tariq Albiali off guard.
No, I don't have time to see my patients.
And he can't wipe the smile off his face. Deborah Shirey, CTV News.
Technology, yeah. I've seen this before, but literally forgot about it. You'd think it'd be all over the news, wouldn't you? But dentistry business is obviously, the industry is obviously a big business. And it is in England anyway. That's all I can talk about. England is, you can never get an appointment. If you do, it's like what you're doing in 8 months on a Wednesday at 2. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I'll probably grow my own teeth by then, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Everything's privatised. So you'd think it'd be, well, you wouldn't think, because you should know by now. It's everything's money in it. Money, money, money. Never mind what we're talking about. Let's move on.
Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Flashed.
Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, it just flashed.
I'm lasering or at him.
This is CE5. Stephen Gray. Stephen Gray is unbelievable. That CE5, I'd love to go to one of the CE5 events. You probably know about them. If you don't, then obviously look it up. Dr. Stephen Gray. Spoke about it on this channel in the past, and he's going to be coming up a lot more. I just popped back in my head the other day. I hadn't seen him for ages, at least a few months, and it just come back in my head. So now you probably see him all the time. Now I'm probably throwing him at you all the time. But yeah, unbelievable. CE5 sounds crazy if someone was to tell you about it until you've seen the video footage.
I don't know of any other example of a footprint in rock that is as amazing as this. And this should be drawing 20 million tourists to South Africa every year, and nobody knows about it. It's unbelievable. And there we have it. Let's get closer. Oh wow. This is just beautiful. Look at this. There's the, you know, when you, there's the big toe and the other 4 toes down to the small toe, down to the heel. What's fascinating about this is anybody that does a study of this will notice this piece sticking out here. It's like when you put your foot in mud and you pull it out, your toes will lift up a little mud where your toes were, and that's exactly what seems to have happened here. This rough granite is just pulled up this overhang here. It's spectacular. And I see that people have been visiting here because they've been leaving little coins here, which is wonderful. Maybe just come closer and show this from more close up. Okay. Well, I don't know who else has filmed this, but I think we'll put this up for everybody to see, for everyone to really appreciate this is a spectacular bit of human history. There were giants on Earth.
These stories fascinate me. We know the imprints and footprints and petrified things and all that. What I don't get though, unless I'm missing something, is are they strong and heavy that they imprint on rock, or were they pouring concrete and then like was giant was here? Do you know what I mean? 800 BC, whatever. Like, oh, it's petrified. I don't know. How does it work? How would there be a footprint? How are they claiming that there's a footprint? I'm not saying there isn't. I'm all for it, but I'm saying like, how would it work? Someone please tell me in the comments if you can, please. Yes, fried with that one.
Somebody told me not to mention mermaids. It's
don't mention mermaids?
I saw a mermaid.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
In Seychelles, Africa.
You saw an actual mermaid?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a swimming person.
Really?
Yeah. And
how long ago was this?
I don't know. Ask Will Sylvans. It was
You think there's like a small population of mermaids that are out there?
But anyway. Me and this little French boy, and they said don't swim in the lagoon after dark. Everybody's up at the bar, and so everybody's gonna go down. Everybody's kind of racing now. So me and him go down. Me and him get in the water. From a distance, you see something coming like a fucking missile, but it's going fast, and we both kind of stop. And then it turns and it jumps out of the water. And it's maybe at least 10, 12 feet long, man. And it do like this, and it look at both of us and go, whoa. The water was only about this deep. Didn't make a splash or nothing. And then me and him turned the fuck around. We running, and everybody's coming down there laughing, got their drinks in their hand. We're like, no, fuck that. And the little boy in French, and his mom is apologizing to me, saying he has a very vivid imagination. He said, no, bitch, listen. We saw a fish man, and it wasn't like a mermaid. Didn't look feminine at all.
Like a man.
A fucking man. A fucking dude who said, get the fuck out the pool. Basically, he was like, do you know Aquaman? Yeah. Because
So
he didn't go, hey, get out the water.
Did it look like a fish person or did it look like a human being?
Came out.
Did it have scales?
It was kind of dark.
Dark like a dolphin?
No, but he had, the back of him was fish. The back of him was fish. His head was humanoid, eyes about so big. Then, if you Google it, the lagoons of Seychelles.
Okay.
And I ain't the first person to see some shit.
Really?
In them waters. And the guy who does the horseback riding, you can ride horses. And he said, how old are you? And I told him, he says, you're from America, right? I'm like, yeah. He says, so at this age, pretty much if you see a turtle and I tell you that's not a turtle, he says, you know it's a turtle. You're at the age, you know what you saw. Right. He says, people pay a lot of money at this resort. He says, it's maybe not a good idea to go around going, I saw a mermaid. And he goes, he's saying how long his family has been fishing in these waters. He says, and he's heard some things. He says, I've heard some things like what you say. He said, I've never seen what you say you saw, but it's not the first time I heard that. And I said, thank you.
Here we go with the mermaids again. Now Africa and Jamaica and places like this, they're supposed to be rife, like rampant, and like the stories that come out of there are unreal. People passing them down from like in the family generations, grandmas, and passing all the stories down, and it just seems to have the norm though. I never knew this till of late. Listen, the only mermaid I wanted was Daryl Hannah Splash. You know what I want about. If you know, you know. Statue of Liberty scene.
It was the project that got the most respect and attention from the intelligence community because they knew it was real. They knew the science of consciousness is real. They knew that these ET civilizations utilize communication technologies that interface with thought and telepathy and consciousness. They all know this. This is an open secret in the intelligence community. We all think that power is derived from your weapon system, your financial clout, the usual materialistic paradigm. The reason that the deeper elements of the intelligence community have this intense interest in it and don't want the public to know is that, first of all, it is extremely efficient spycraft, which they don't want others to have. Secondly, they know that if people understood the power of consciousness and of mass consciousnness, they would be able to completely change the direction of the planet. That is, to me, the big secret. Sociology studies of meditators, where they go into a community, say you have a town of 200,000 people, and they would send in 1% of the population equivalent, 2,000 people, to go into deep meditation. And they found that emergency room visits declined, violent crimes declined, robberies, all kinds of negative behaviors declined, even though those people didn't even know they were in the city. Because there is this resonant effect through the force, if you want to look at it that way, through this entangled, interwoven consciousness field. And people who didn't even know these meditators were there became more ordered, more peaceful, more happy, etc., and so on.
This was actually based on the studies done in quantum physics, in which a container of helium was cooled down to absolute zero. When only 1% of the helium became aligned to coherent, the entire container went through a phase transition, instantly shifting into coherence and taking on almost magical properties, a state called superfluidity.
So there was this transformation at that 1% point. When a critical mass of people, and whether it's 1% or a fraction of that, depends on the state of consciousness of those who are practicing the meditation or a prayer or coherence. But at that point, you can shift an entire civilization. If we all become coherent, just 1% of us, like a molecule of helium, and we become aligned and coherent and move in the right direction, it will transform the other 99%, even though they don't know that we're doing it. And that's the beauty and the power of the structure of non-locality in consciousness, is that it's all interwoven, but there's enormous power when you're operating at that deeper level of consciousness. And that the intelligence community is very much afraid of, because that's something, A, they cannot control, and B, it would transcend their ability to alter the outcome.
I had to chuck him in. Dr. Stephen Greer. Go and watch his stuff, please. CE by Contact. It's called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. That's the one, the first one I watched. Got plenty of stuff, but you need to watch his stuff. If you haven't, you probably have, but if you haven't, then it's so interesting at the very least. His story of when he was younger and stuff, he explains it all. Power of consciousness, they suppress you, they want to dumb you down, they keep you dumb. They don't want you to think for yourself and open it, expand your mind. That's why they put things in chemicals that can damage you, the way you think and stuff. Frequency, the hertz. Everything's to dumb you down. You want to open your spiritual consciousness, which we all know at this point we all have. Unless you're that stubborn like I am, I'm not. Nah. I was raised in the 70s, I don't have spirit of consciousness. Do you know what I mean? It's all part of the plan. To suppress, keep you down, keep in control. It's never going to change unless we rise up somehow.
Real Bigfoot encounters.
My name is Mike Woolley. I'm from Keachai, Louisiana. I had an encounter back in December of 1981 with a Bigfoot while deer hunting. It was a beautiful December day, perfect weather for a hunt. Temperature was about 30 degrees. I got to my deer stand that evening, about 3 o'clock, got on it, and I was sitting there, and I was facing to the north, and my deer stand was located about 1.5 miles down an old logging road and off the main highway, secondary highway. And what I would do, I would park my truck halfway down the logging road, and I would walk in the rest of the way because I didn't want to drive my truck down and spook the deer. Well, it must have been, I hadn't been there no more than 30 minutes, and this little young doe deer come running from the east out of some briars and brush that there's no way a human could walk through that. But she come up to my deer stand, and what was so amusing, come up to my deer stand and laid down, up and actually touching the deer stand. She was wringing wet with sweat. She had been run, something had been running her. And first thing hit my mind, it was a big buck. And I said, I'm gonna kill me a big buck. So when I raised my head back up, I was turning my head, and out of my peripheral vision, I seen something hop to a tree. And it was tall, about 7-8 foot tall, and it was black, real hairy, like a gorilla. And I knew it wasn't a gorilla because there was no circus in town, and I knew it hadn't escaped, and I knew we didn't have no gorillas running loose. So the first thing hit my mind, it was somebody dressed up in a suit trying to scare me off my good deer hunting spot. Well, immediately I go to talking to this thing, telling it, you know, take the head off, get out of here, you know, don't come back, you know, this ain't no joke, I don't find it funny, you know, just leave. Well, this thing was just eyeballing me, you know, looking at me and really giving me some sinister looks. And I knew right then, I said, you know, something ain't right. Well, this went on for a few minutes, and he must have been about 20 yards from me, 15, 20 yards. So I take my rifle, I've got a high-powered rifle with a high-powered scope on the rifle, and I look through the scope at the creature. And I knew that after looking at it, I was in a situation because it was cold, you know, the moisture was coming out of its mouth, its nostrils. It looked really, really human. The face was human. The eyelashes, I could see the eyelashes, you know, the eyes, the teeth were big teeth, flat teeth like our teeth. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and it's really PO'd at me. And it lets out a roar like a lion. Well, about 100.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. This Bigfoot thing is, I get it. I get why people don't believe, because I did it for years. I forgot all about it. It's not like I actively didn't believe, just actively forgot about it. Right? And then if I thought about it, like, yeah, obviously no, you'd have clear photos by now, trail cameras, everything. Then I started listening to people's encounters, telling the stories and the detail they go into, and like the memories it brings back from, and also like the emotions you go through when they're telling them, and the amount of consistency and similarities in people from different countries, different states, Alaska, all the way down to like Texas, wherever it be. You have to, there's not that many people lying and that many people Oscar-worthy actors, you know what I mean? That's why you need an open mind, just open mind with everything. Don't matter if you're dead against it, just have an open mind, just like, go on then. And then just listen to both sides, just don't let someone talk and then wait for them to finish so you can say, okay, you said your piece, now I don't believe you. Actually listen to what people are saying, have an open mind. That's all I'm saying from this channel, please. Or message me in the comments and let's have it. Let's talk about it.
Here's why I'm not going to go to college. First off, the whole school system's basically just a scam designed to turn everybody into a bunch of employees who can't think for themselves. John D. Rockefeller is the richest man in American history, and he was known for being corrupt. He started the General Education Board. He did this so he could mold everybody into being employees for his businesses. Because it's easy to control everybody when you control what they think 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, their whole life growing up, and then make it illegal for them not to do it. This man literally said, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." School doesn't teach you anything about basic money skills or investing and building wealth, but instead teaches you to show up on time, sit still, be quiet, do what you're told, and memorize some whitewashed history for a couple days till the test comes, then you forget it all right after. They want to make you smart enough to where you can work your 9-to-5 job and do what your boss says, but not smart enough to where you can think on your own and understand the messed up system you're in. School's not teaching you how to think, it's telling you what to think. The school system doesn't reward you when you come up with ideas and think for yourself. It rewards you when you fill in bubbles on a pointless test and get perfect attendance. The world changes every year, but the schools have stayed the same forever, so everything they're teaching is just outdated now, and you can just Google it. I don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. I just want to have a ton of money and be financially free. So instead of wasting my time memorizing algebra equations I'll never use and getting straight A's, I learn about investing and starting businesses, so now I'm able to make more money from my iPhone than any college degree would ever make me. And I was able to do this all just by watching YouTube videos and Googling stuff, but the system doesn't want you to know this because they want you to go to college and put yourself in debt with a $100,000 loan, knowing you know nothing about money, so you can go eat pizza rolls and ramen for 4 years, learning about something you have no interest in, so you can go work a job making $50,000 a year and then retire broke. Nowadays, the only reason to go to college would be if your passion requires a degree, but other than that, it's just a waste. Rich people stay rich by never teaching the poor and middle class what they know. The whole system's a trap, and the only way to escape it is by educating yourself.
Say it with your chest. Cannot say it any better. Spot on, to the T. Can't get any better than that. There's nothing to be said. He's literally just said it all. Young lad, very wise, head and shoulders. He knows what he wants from life. What a waste of time college and that is. You just need nothing unless, exactly, with a passion, unless it's a passion of yours. Then there's no need, especially in America. You got all the £100,000 debt and whatever it is. Well, same here. I don't think I've ever known anyone to go to uni and do the job that they went for. Ever. Waste of time. And we all know that by now. Let's move on.
They don't want you to know why some cats have slit eyes.
Check this out, y'all.
They're slitted pupils. Do you know how rare that is in the animal kingdom? Lions do not have slitted pupils. They're round just like ours. Tigers don't have slitted pupils either. Nor do jaguars. Now this is kind of the weird thing because I kind of thought that a domesticated house cat came from a big cat at some point down the line. But if they don't have slitted pupils like a house cat does, then what does have slitted pupils? Reptiles. Snakes and alligators have slitted pupils. Not any other cat. Now, in many cultures, ancient reptiles were considered to be kind of a trippy creature that had other abilities and senses. The other thing that's weird is that cats hiss like a snake, and they have slitted pupils like a reptile. They also love to eat mice, as do snakes. Now, we know how much the ancient Egyptians loved cats. Cats also have pineal glands. And you notice that cats will do that thing where they'll look in the corner of the room and you're making a fuss about what seems to be nothing. It is believed that their eyes enable them to see outside of the visible light spectrum that me and you are bound by. Now, it's not known how a cat has half the attributes of a lion and half the attributes of a snake, but perhaps some genetic tinkering went on many years ago in ancient worlds.
This is one of them that was staring you in the face, so to speak. It's like so obvious, but you never think about it. What is to do with the cats and the serpents and Egyptians with the cats and the eyes? Like, what is that about? Is he DNA tinkering? Was he like hybrid species? Like a liger? I don't know. But it makes more sense that the reptilians than a domesticated cat or whatever pet. I was sat there thinking, I could claw him. Do you know what I mean? Probably clever. Didn't have all this and we're just like, shut up, stupid cat, get in the corner. weird. Like how much we respected them, and I think hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, whatever, and now we just say, chilling corner. You know what I mean? Crazy how times have changed. There's something to that. There has to be more to that. Just like dinosaurs and dragons. I think dinosaurs were real. I think it was all dragons. And just in case you haven't, go back and watch the Dinosaurs and Dragons episode I did. Should be on the thumbnail. Let me know in the comments.
14 college students created a video game called No Man's Sky. It's on one DVD disc. It has 80 quadrillion planets and unlimited life forms, and the game never ends. Now they're going to inject AI into this software. So these people that are in there are people in there, they're going to become conscious. They're going to be asking, who is our creator? Why are we here? Who created this universe? What is our big bang? Well, when we turn your game console on, that's the big bang.
So this becomes sentient? They'll be...
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to AGI soon, which is the next level of sentience for machine learning and computer learning. And so now also the Sims owner, the creator of the Sims, people go to jobs, they have babies, they go to parties. They're going to insert the AI in there, and those people are going to become conscious. So we're only replicating what's already been done. Now we're creating conscious universes within this universe.
So is it possible we're on The Sims right now?
Yeah. This is a simulation. It appears that we're living in this stacked reality matrix. In other words, we have a universe here, but there could be one above us.
This is one of them I found fascinating, but I can't comprehend because I'm caveman. I'm a Neanderthal compared to these people. But it's just fascinating. Everything you can get on, whatever he said was fascinating, and I needed to show it. I just don't know what to say because I'm not that clever. That's me thinking out loud, that's me telling the truth. These people are just some clever people in this world who just know everything about everything. And some of these kids these days are just so wise with the computers and stuff. Like it's just so beyond me. Like proper caveman I am to these. Let's just move on.
Afternoon, Trinity County and all of East Texas. Sheriff Woody Wallace for Trinity County here. Look at here, we got some dumpers. And everybody knows we don't tolerate dumping in East Texas, especially in Trinity County. So I don't know who dumped this, but we're going to do everything we can to find out. What the perpetrators don't realize is on both ends of this road, I have cameras up. I can see the cars when they come in. I can check the cars when they come out. If they had a bunch of garbage when they come in, and it's not still in the back of their truck when they leave, we've got a problem. So this right here is a bunch of cat food cans, a bunch of cat food and bird food. So whoever the perpetrator is, they like cats. Oh, they got a lot of them. We're going to do everything we can to find out who they are. Please share this message, and if you know who feeds their cats this kind of cat food, and we're going to go through the trash here in a minute, try to figure out exactly what we got. But somebody knows who done this. Share this, please. Find us some information. Get us a step back. Thank y'all very much.
Now, unless Bigfoot is wanted by the police, he's on the run. What's that? Is the police in on the hoax? Is it a man in a suit? And what's this? If anyone knows, could you please tell me in the comments about it? What your verdict to this is, please. I'd love to hear this one. Thank you.
There's a place right to the side of the Sugarman estate that's all fenced off. They've got signs saying you can't go in here. Me and Wayne Dyer were looking at it, and I said, I wonder why they don't let people go in there. And we were out on the grass looking out at the whales jumping, and out of the water came this huge mermaid. Must have been 12, 14 feet tall. And it's definitely a mermaid, because when it came up, looked at us, and Wayne Dyer was there with me. So were a bunch of other people. They all saw it. It looked at us, and it kind of grimaced at us, and then dove down in the water, and you could see its tail come up. And I was like, holy cow, we just saw a mermaid. And came to find out there's mermaids, and they've got a deal with the Hawaiian government that nobody can go in that area. They don't even let boats go in that area. And it's just right off the mountain.
This experience very much reminds me of the mermaid encounter that Tony Woods also experienced in Africa.
There's another mermaid one for you. Again, 10 to 12 foot they're supposed to be. That's the recurring thing, that 10 to 12 foot, and they look and leap and stuff. The way they look and they leap, and like the similarities again. Mermaids just might be real. What's it of Hawaii? Maui? Just near Maui? I think you have to have like the law around there, like the natives to tell you to like say a prayer and ask for permission to swim the waters and that. And I don't know if that's anything to do with it, but that's what I've heard.
Sometimes the townspeople would find the bodies. One tale reports an instance where the body of a missing hunter turned up several days after his disappearance, on the rocks adjacent to the nearby lagoon. The body was remarkable in the sense that it bore wounds that were completely different to anything the townsfolk had seen before. They were familiar with bear attacks, and this was certainly not one. There were no obvious claw marks on the hunter. He had been mutilated and mangled beyond recognition. There were few signs that whatever had killed the man had preyed upon him, and entire limbs had been rendered from his body, dismembered and scattered across the scene. Other bodies shortly followed. Another showed up around the same time. This time it was the body of a local woodcutter, Andrew Hamlock, who had been found in the forests not too far from where he was working. He had been killed by a single blow to the head, and there were few signs of a struggle. Whatever or whoever had killed this man had either done it stealthily or extremely quickly with immense power. There were no signs that the woodcutter had been killed by a weapon. It seemed that sheer natural force had brought this man to his doom. Then the footprints were discovered. In an article with the Homer Tribune, a local Alaskan newspaper covering the Portlock area, Melania Helen Cal, the area's oldest resident, told the story with conviction and confidence. Tales were told of villagers tracking moose over soft ground, she said. They would find giant, man-like tracks over 18 inches in length, closing upon those of the moose, the signs of a short struggle where the grass had been matted down, then only the deep tracks of the man-like animal departing toward the high, fog-shrouded mountains. Melania is one of the many residents that eventually fled the town, settling instead in the nearby town of Nanwalek. Tom Larson, a fisherman, was the first to see the alleged creature. Reportedly, a huge, hairy monster was silently watching him from across the river as he fished. Making out the outline of the creature through the trees, a terrified Tom ran home to fetch his rifle, aiming to put a stop to the strange occurrences. But when he returned to search the area, there was no sign of such a creature. The forest carried on, with the songs of birds and the gentle flowing of the creek. By this point, the townspeople were deeply unsettled, understandably. The notion that any one of them could meet a grisly fate at the hands of some unknown monster was bone-chilling, and people started to leave Portlock behind to start new lives in an area where death was perhaps a little further away. By 1950, less than 10 years later, Portlock had been completely abandoned by the townspeople.
We've been over Portlock in here. A few episodes back, I think it was. Scary, innit? Mangled bodies and stuff that they went through. Oh, and just get open, they're gone. I think I would as well. Then up the further up north you get, America, Alaska, where Canada, all that, they start getting nastier and nastier. Lower 48, they're supposed to be. They're all different type humans, people. There's all different ones, but more often than not, they want more chill in the lower 48, and then higher up, nastier is the consensus I'm getting. So, who knows? I believe it.
Nanobots. Swedish scientists come up with nanobots that take care of certain kind of cells in the body. Apparently blood swimming nanotech is real, and they're smaller than blood cells. What are these things made out of? What? Apparently they come equipped with a swimming tail, a capacitor, their payload, and a micro camera. Some of them are said to have arms. These have all this technology inside of them, and they're smaller than a blood cell. Who had the small enough hands to get in there and just, Okay. I can't find any real pictures of them for you, and when I'm looking for these things, it reminds me a lot of trying to find a real photo of Earth from space. You know how they all look really computer generated and super fake? Come on now, who built that camera? Come on. Amazon hasn't even figured out a robotic delivery system for our packages out here in the big world, where we have hands that are small enough to build these robots. And we're supposed to believe these exist? I can't. I can't. If something like this exists, humans did not make it.
I've heard they've got nanotechnology in Pepsi and Coke. It sounds far-fetched. Look it up. Inside Pepsi and Coke they should have nanotechnology or something to do with nanotechnology and Pepsi and Coke or something. Wouldn't surprise me, it's like the biggest brand ever. So much money. One off. Crazy things these days, you can't rule anything out these days. I'm going to leave it there. That was the last one of the day, and I shall say thank you for joining me. If you're still stuck around now, I appreciate it. Spread the word about the channel, tell someone. Jump in the comments if you've got any arguments or points you want to make or anything. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.